Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Metal Gear Rising, and this is my Revengeance difficulty guide for the aforementioned title. And we're on the first substantial chapter, which is entitled R-01 Coup d'etat. And this scenario here will have 3 cyborgs and 1 Mastiff coming out of that building. The Mastiff, I can't attest if he's on very hard. Part of me wanted to go through very hard difficulty, and another part of me just felt that I would get too fatigued with the game. And I like the way it's set up. I just wasn't expecting to not unlock the hardest difficulty after completing the game once. So I wasn't expecting it, but I appreciate it, but it's too much of an old way of doing things, you know. And it's rightly so for a game like this. This game is all about skill. All about skill. But the thing is, it's very easy to break this game. They give you plenty of opportunities and advantage. I mean, plenty of outs. If you don't want to do something difficult in this game, there's plenty of ways to not do what they want you to do. But we're not going to do that because that's cheap, and that's for people that don't care for anything other than, you know, achievements. I'm playing this on the PC, and I don't think I get any achievements. I don't want them. So that chandelier I broke just to show you that it is something to break in this game, and it has a data file. So all of the conversations that take place, I'm just going to edit them out, because every time somebody's talking to you, you have to go through like 3 pages of text. So now we're doing stealth, and this is because I have the horizontal x-axis inverted, because I like to traverse the map with the x-axis inverted. But it's hard for me when I'm in battles or when I'm doing the Zandatsus, because normally my brain it likes the inverted nature of it, but not when you're doing these Zandatsus. So I love this game, even though it has a whole host of problems in my mind. I love the stealth. Like, can you imagine if Ninja Gaiden 2 had stealth? It's incredibly fun, and I'm going to be doing stealth as much as possible. So the next guy you want to take down is this guy, and we're going to be saving the civilians as much as I can tolerate. I have saved them all, and I don't know if you unlock anything. It's probably an achievement, but I've saved them all. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, if you're hovering over an enemy, just like in Batman, you'll get a prompt to do an aerial takedown. So what I normally do, anytime I'll drop to the box. Now this guy, he actually saw me, but it was the last guy. And the civilians, how the civilian scenario works, and you could also hit their clothes off if you want to, but it doesn't really matter since there's no females. But once you go into the proximity of where the civilian is being harassed by cyborgs in this game, it's a countdown. But until you actually start hearing the conversation between the two parties, it's like they're frozen in time. So that's all you have to do. Normally EMP grenades are your best ally to get those civilians saved, and it's fun. I can't describe how much replayability this game has. Like, this is my third, it's near about my 3rd campaign through the game, and I'm having the time of my life. And that's hard to say for any game, because most games they're just tepid, and you can tell that they're not quality. And this game is of extreme quality, but as I mentioned, it has a whole host of issues. One of the minor grievances is that whenever you're doing the ninja run, the AR mode goes off. So that's a problem. So I'm on these maps, just make sure you go around and find everything. You can also do like the vanquish trick in this game, which is to pick everything up, go to the customize screen, exit, because going to the customize screen and then exiting saves your data, so that you can go to a hotspot and find a bunch of stuff, and just keep picking up the stuff, keep going to the customize screen. So on these geckos, what I like to do is I like them to charge me and then parry their charge. So It's not that you're doing an actual parry with the counterattack. It's that when they're charging at you, you press in their direction and the X button simultaneously. Not in the way that the attack is coming, but wherever the enemy is positioned. It's near about the same thing. But now we've got these guys coming down, and these guys weren't here in hard. So these guys counter when you counterattack, they like to counterattack right back, so it can be difficult. But you want to cut them up with Ripper mode. Whenever you have Ripper mode, just use it. It's very helpful. I know of several ways to launch. I won't have enough time to talk about all the ways, but one of the ways is while you're doing a light attack, you do a slight pause and then do another light attack. Also, forward X is a launch, as well as Y, pause Y. You'll have to look at that one up. I'm not sure about that one, but we have a checkpoint now, and I'm going to do this stealthily. I also would like to do the last mission stealthily because there's an achievement for that. And while I don't care about the achievement itself, I want to see if I can do it. It sounds fun. I love stealth in this game. So what I do is take this guy down, but make sure you take him out pretty close to that lip where we just jumped up from. And what I do is when I have the cardboard box, which I prefer more than the oil drum, I immediately after a Zandatsu, I drop to the cardboard box. What I love about this game is, you saw when I was doing the Zandatsu, and afterwards when I killed him, it had an explosion, and it was pretty close to the cyborgs, but they didn't even hear it. It doesn't matter how loud you're being, except if you're running up to some enemies that have sensitive hearing, like the Mastiffs. I believe you cannot run up to them with a ninja run and press B. But it's not about, like, I could swing my sword over here and the guy would not do anything. It's just about them seeing you. And they have a harder time seeing you when you're further away from them on the map. And I always just drop to the box. See, I should do it here. I just do it out of habit. Now, I love about the box. I mean, if they see a box running around or moving around, obviously they're going to get detected. But if they just see a box, it doesn't matter because they just assume it was there already. And I love it. Like, this is really a game for me. But a long time ago, I think it was just a year ago, I had this game and I smashed it with a screwdriver because it was driving me crazy. I could not master this game. I probably will never master it, but I couldn't even beat the Blade Wolf. Okay, so now the next enemy we're going to get is this guy, but make sure the guy to the left, his back is turned. And sometimes I don't finish off with a Zandatsu just because I want to expedite it. But look here, see, if they suspect you in any way, they'll get the caution sign on, and then you've got to let the numbers lower to 0. Now this guy was a very close call. Sometimes they'll approach the box, and if they touch it, they'll know where you are. But I like how aggroed enemies can be neutralized with, once you get the alert, you can go hide. I'm talking about sometimes. Sometimes the arenas are just too small. There's nowhere to hide. But I'm not really much of a hider like that. But sometimes I like to do it. It's kind of fun. So watch out for this gecko. He can actually see you from where he's at down there. And I selected the Muramasa blade to be using on this guide. And it's fully upgraded. It has a 5 on attack power or strength. 5 on absorption. Excuse me. I'm learning how to talk. Remember that. It's an ongoing process. And it has 5 attribute on energy. So it has it's faster. Like the swipes you take, it's faster than the high frequency blade that you by default start with. Now, as I mentioned, it's very easy to break this game. Like the armor breaker and the fox blade with their particular, I don't know what they're called exactly, but the key attributes that make them what they are, like the fox blade and the armor breaker will just destroy the game in ways so that you don't even have to really play the game. So I even hesitated using the Muramasa blade, but I thought to myself, this is a blade that you unlock for beating the game once, so everybody's going to have it. And then nobody will be excluded because, say for instance, I thought about using, well, let me talk about this. what you need to do here is activate Ripper mode and do a heavy attack with the Y button, and you'll stun this guy, and you want to keep hitting him into the wall. See, the amount of damage I'm doing to this guy is pretty extreme, but he can combo you. In one combo you're dead, and you cannot get out of the combo. That's another one of my main grievances. So he's sending out some soldiers here. Now, these aren't lackeys. Some people are kind of confused when I say like a lackey. A lackey is when a boss is amidst, you know, like when a boss is in an arena and he actually needs help fighting you at the same time. I wouldn't constitute these guys actual lackeys. They're just, he's still getting helped, but he's not being involved in the fight, you know, with them. So I don't mind that so much. You know, it's just another wave. I would just say a wave. But if he was down here fighting with them at the same time, then those would definitely be constituted as lackeys. So what I'm going to do, enemy hits that are red can be parried. Hits that are orange cannot. So what am I doing here? I'm using some nano paste because I saw a nano paste over here, and you might see that I'm using the white suit, which is like the medical suit. I like the color of it, but as you can see, I have 10 nano pastes. So you might be saying to yourself, well, Vic, you're cheating. You're not going to be able to do this game if you think you're going to be needing that much, and you're not good because of that. The thing about that is that I only very liberally or conservatively wanted to use those med kits. Like I only used that one, and then I think he hit me at one point and I had to use one automatically. So just because it says 10 on there, a lot of the times I won't even have them equipped. So if I die, it's game over. I don't get any reprieve. So it's only for battles where it's kind of long like this, and when I'm doing well, you know, I just want to stay in the game as long as possible. So when he comes down, use Ripper mode, kick him, and then he gets stunned most times than not. Otherwise, you're going to have to be using the offensive defensive, which is, if you were playing Ninja Gaiden 2, it's X plus A, it's the win run. So what is it? X. It's forward XX to do that drive move from Devil May Cry. Is that what it is? Forward X. I believe it's forward or forward Y. Yeah, forward Y. My bad. So with him destroyed, there are 3 enemies over here. 2 of whom have shields. But unfortunately, what happened over here for me was that I killed the first one. See, there's no enemies over here. I unspawned them against my wishes. I did not want this. I wanted to stealth them, but I spawned the fight, killed the first guy via the stealth ninja kill, and then when the second guys ended up seeing me, it checkpointed, and then I died, and then when I respawned, that fight was gone. So the only choice I had in that situation was to restart the chapter, and why would I want to do that when I didn't intentionally unspawn those enemies? It's annoying. So here we have another sequence where we're running against the camera. In the previous video when I said that those sequences shouldn't be in the game, I just meant that they shouldn't cause undue frustration. That's what I meant. So make sure you have your homing missiles equipped here. There's several on the ground here. I won't be doing any of the secret battles. If you need those, just consult a guide. Some of the secret battles, like, I think one of them's over here. I might do some optionals because sometimes you have people in distress and Boris tells you if you want to engage, go ahead. But other ones, you'll not get any notification, and they're just a secret battle. So all you need to be doing here is firing the missiles, and then take them down with the Zandatsu, and then we'll hopefully be doing some more stealth, because it greatly facilitates, you know, the process of winning in this game. Okay, what I would like to address is a couple of my main grievances with this game, but don't misconstrue this as me not liking this game, because this is a fantastic game. It's lovely. The attention to detail is magnificent, and it's exquisite in a lot of other areas. Here's another citizen here. If you just do this by throwing EMPs, you should be pretty good. And My main criticism, having already played the game, it's not anymore that there's no dedicated block or evade. What I've come to loathe the most is waggling the left analog stick to the left and to the right to get out of stuns. And combined with that, I hate when bosses or enemies, either one, stagger you into hits and get you messed up in combos where you can't do anything to get out of the combo. So you take like in this difficulty you would be dead. There would be no way to survive anything like that. And I just think that's deplorable because obviously whoever got caught in it, it's the player's fault for getting caught in it, and I'll readily admit that. But give me a chance somehow to get out of the combo. But that waggling of the left analog stick, and I don't know any other word to describe it. I looked up the word waggle, and it perfectly summed up what I was trying to mean. But anyway, I will get back to that. But this concede right here, it's going to have you approach the door, and it's locked, and you're going to need to... It's basically a seminar to teach you how to dismember specific limbs of enemies. So if you'll run right over here, if you run over here or even up here, you could actually jump and get the B button in the air and do a takedown. It's fucking beautiful. This game is so great. But, you know, the waggling of the left analog stick back and forth, it's in The Legend of Korra, it's in Bayonetta, and I hate it. There's a part of me that doesn't even want to involve myself in that. So I just, a lot of the times when I was playing it on hard, I just said, just keep hitting me until I get out of it. But anyway, do you see the guy with the alternating triangle over him? I've killed all the enemies that have the because in this game there are 30 enemies with specific data on their left arms that you have to know who they are by going into the AR mode, and occasionally, like sometimes it's actually like the first guy of a level, but not every time, but a couple of times I remember specifically the first enemy had that left arm, but it's only certain individuals. It's that way every time, but it's obviously when you do it, they're not going to keep giving you the arm. So all you need to do is just take off their arm and it will drop to the floor. You don't have to catch it or pick it up in midair. As long as you pick it up, it'll save the fact. But it's just a tutorial to show you how to do that. And then I think at this time on a normal campaign, the doctor would tell you that there's you know, these individuals with the left arms that we need for and then you could unlock a bunch of stuff. Another one of my, what else do I hate about this game? Yeah, this is the game where you constantly need to evade, and you can't block. You cannot block in this game. I will stand true to that and defend it to the earth, because there's no move in this game where you can just hold a button, not move, and just stand there and block, like God of War or Ninja Gaiden. And this is a game where you have to move out of the way of attacks. So what do? There's only one evade in this game. It's X plus A, or if you're on the PS3, PS3, it's square and X. And he does he'll watch this move over here. I do it a couple of times because these guys pin me to the wall, and I had to use some nano paste automatically. But I should be doing it over here. The extent to which you get iframes to me is unknown. I don't see this right there. You can move it in any direction you want to. I think you can move it in like 8 different directions, and it gets you out of the way of enemies' attacks, and it's very skill-based and precise, but it's regrettable. And that's why I actually took a screwdriver to the copy of this game that I had on PS3 last year. I stuck the screwdriver I put the disc on my floor and just smashed it with a screwdriver, because I was actually really craving to learn this game. And to not have a dedicated block and evade, I have a link if you want to watch it on telly. It's like 30 seconds of destruction, but it's not like I went out and murdered people after that. I was disappointed with the game. Alright, so we're going on to the next section. We have security checkpoint over here, and it did occur to me that I forgot to put my PC settings in the first video, as I've been doing for PC games. So basically, I have all of the settings maxed out. Now, you'll see black bars at the top and bottom of your screen. The reason for that is because this game does not support my monitor's native resolution of 1920 by 1200. It only supports 19 at the top echelon. It only supports 1920 by 1080, which means for you that you'll have the black bars, and it means that for me too. But it's something I could deal with. It's not too bad. But this, I've never seen a more gorgeous game as this one. Full 60 frames a second, and no performance issues on my PC. $6 game. I will never forget. I'll never get over that. But there is one problem, and I don't know how much of a problem this might be with the PS3 controller. I think it's an across-the-board problem. But okay, so I'm talking about the D-pad now. So on the D-pad for this game, D-pad left and D-pad right brings up the menu where you can switch weapons, put sub-weapons on, equip and unequip nanopaste, and use nanopaste and electrolyte packs and things like that. That's for that. Now, when you press D-pad up, what does that do? It goes into the AR mode, correct? So D-pad down, I don't think does anything. But the problem is that the sensitivity level is so low that you'll be mashing on, very rapidly mashing on left or right on the D-pad to pull up your menu, and it just won't come up. And I even thought my controller might be the problem, because my controller, while it's a couple of years old, but it's in like new condition still. I haven't thrown one to the dogs yet, but my particular controller, and I think this is what a lot of new controllers do, they have the rotating D-pad, so that if you don't like it the way it is, you can push down and turn it so that the D-pad is lifted up. And I guess that's better for fighting games, but I don't know anything about those. I used to play those, but that's besides the point. So I switched my D-pad because I had the cross raised, so I put it back to the normal way your normal 360 controller has it, especially the ones that come like stock with the computer, or with the fucking game system, the video game console. So I put it that way, and I'm still laboring to press left and right on the menu. Now I'm gonna take a striking example from Ninja Gaiden 2, because I don't talk about that game enough. Ninja Gaiden 2, when you press left or right on the D-pad, it automatically brought up the menu, because I think that they knew how imperative it was for the player to access that menu, have the game pause, because that game is chaos. And in this game, I can't tell you the number of times I've been hit and stun locked to death because I'm simply trying to open a menu. That's completely unacceptable. Now, these guys scared me over here, literally, and just in the game, kind of, oh whoa, these guys kind of snuck up on me. And I find it now, if anybody has, so I'm playing on the PC, so I can't speak for the console version, but I can definitely tell you that I just think it's an across-the-board problem, and it's a problem that is utterly ridiculous. The sensitivity needs to be very, very low, so that just the faintest press of that button will bring up the menu. And it's just imperative. It's imperative. So those are my main grievances with this game. But don't let what I'm saying make you think that I hate this game, because at one point I did hate it. When I put my screwdriver through it last year, I did hate it. And it was an act of catharsis mainly. Some people might say, well, you're an idiot, you should have sent it back and got your money back. It was worth more to me mentally just to smash it. And I will put, I don't like commenting on my own videos, like just different comments. I don't mind responding to comments. I just don't like leaving comments on my videos, because YouTube used to have a really great feed that you could look on anybody's channel. You could see what the feed was for that person, and it will tell you all of his or her activities, and it was great. But it's just like it's the only way to communicate nowadays, and leave a message on your Facebook or your YouTube. So these little shits down here, these little robot guys, it goes into it will sometimes go into the Zandatsu, but unless you want to chop them up just for fun, you can't like extract any power supply units from them. So they're shitheads. And this piece of shit's on his, I don't know, he must not have his legs. Piece of goddamn dog fuck. Well, why was he not standing? He has his legs, goddamn it all. So these guys accompany Mistral, the boss of this chapter. Now, when we get to her, you'll see the difference between in the Blade Wolf fight that we did earlier in the video, where he was asking for help, but he wasn't fighting alongside that help. He was saying to these enemies, "Go get them. I'll stand back. Let the player deal with them." But in the Mistral boss fight, you'll have those shits in the fight trying to screw with you, while she's also trying to screw with you. Now, that is a situation where that enemy is a lackey. Okay, these particular things right here, they're called gun cams, so you need to be aware of those. What is this box giving us? This item box? It's giving us, I think, a jamming grenade. We have red phosphorus grenades. We have these jamming grenades. They all have different purposes. All you need to know here fundamentally is that if you put the AR mode on, then you'll be able to see the lasers that you can't see without the augmented reality mode on. So like the barrier of lasers right there, that set of 5, you would not be able to see those. So very close call right there. Very, very liberal with the hit detection. So I think there's only one gun camera in here that you can hit. I would ignore the other ones. And I just want to say that for all my criticisms of this game, I have really come to adore this game. It's just, there's no perfect game, but my level of enjoyment here, I'm revigorated, and I can't tell you how fun it is to play this game and get better. Know that you're getting better. So what am I putting on here? I also like the nice little touches, like the goddess statues, or the female holographs that distract the cyborgs. It's really funny. Things like that just makes a game so special. It really does. So I have the cardboard box out now. As far as I can tell, the cardboard box, and from what I've read based on their descriptions, they're pretty similar. It's just I like to be lower to the ground, and I just like the cardboard box. I think the oil drum has more protection from UV magnetism, things like that. But we are coming up on the Mistral boss fight. I managed to do her without using any items, but you get a lot of checkpoints for that fight. The one thing that I really, really hate later in the game is that they put 2 bosses together, and there's no checkpoint in between. And here was I doing chip damage to these bosses, and I didn't even receive a checkpoint. But we need to drop quickly, because guess what happened? It wasn't really that guy that saw. It was the guy, when I turned the camera right over to the left, he saw me. And that aggroes everybody, puts them into the caution status. So this will definitely be a highly stealth gameplay. It won't be like I'm not going out of my way to perfectly stealth every encounter. That's already been determined. So these guys are on caution again. And mainly, if you know you aren't going to be able to stealth kill everybody, stealth kill the most problematic ones for you. Like out of these guys, it's definitely this guy here with the electronic with that staff and the grenade launcher and all the body armor, rather than this guy over here, that target mark, who I can run at, slide, and Chop Up, and then Zandatsu. So you're not going to be able to Zandatsu an enemy unless your fuel cells are so that they're turquoise. Now, when all of them are turquoise, they will be supplanted by the Ripper gauge. When all the fuel cells, because now you can see that all the fuel cells heretofore were turquoise, now are a pinkish red, meaning that we can press L3 and R3 to activate Ripper mode. Now this guy, he could have gone to me, did you see that? But fortunately his AI is not so omniscient that he went in my direction. So I'm going to hop out the window over here because I know there's an item, but it was one of those items that you pick up once and then it disappears. So that tells me that it was probably a data storage unit, because even if it were a VR mission, they'll still have the VR laptop terminal sitting on the ground. It just won't be powered on. So there's also, when you go out here, okay, I'm gonna go get this item box over here. So anytime you want your loadout exactly the way you want, like say you go to Mistral but you want your EMPs equipped every time, or you want the pole arm equipped every time, all you have to do, because that's a really sensitive area with me, I hate having to reload and getting my loadout what I want, and particularly with the setback that we have of accessing our menu, and sometimes it won't even come up until we punch it 6 times. So all you need to do is go to the customize screen, and they always let you do this, by the way. Just go to customize and then leave customize, because leaving customize saves everything that you went into there with. So immediately toss the emitting, I'm just going to call them EMPs. Toss the EMPs at the lackeys, and we're going to use the staff to do area damage here. And once they're out of the way, unfortunately they keep coming back, but just watch for her flash attack. Now some of these I'm perfect guarding against, which results in what looks like a block at the end. So if you block it, you don't take damage. If you parry it, you'll be able to deal her massive damage like I do a little later in the fight. Now with a secondary weapon, it's activated by pressing the Y button. I mean, it's not activated, but you use it with the X button is your primary and the Y is your secondary. I don't think you can switch that, but let me know if anybody knows that. My friend Reuta would definitely know. I watched his guide when he was making it. So you want to tear her staff apart so that she doesn't have it, but then she's going to start tossing these robots at you, and it's really frustrating. But just keep using this evade, and you've got to really be careful. Keep the lock on. I usually keep the lock on, and so now once she goes up there, she's going to start throwing these. The closer you get to it, the less of an angle she'll have to hit you. Sort of like the Theseus boss fight that I never got to premiere, although I did do it, no upgrade run. Plus, so I guess I would say use the pole to clear up the enemies that she spawns and has as lackeys here, and then parry her red glinting attacks. And then just keep hitting her. Even if she's standing there guarding against all your attacks, once your barrage of attacks is finished, she'll get stunned, and then you could hit her even more. And even though you weren't hitting her before, oh, look at that damage! That damage! See, I told you can deal massive damage to these enemies in this game if you know how to parry. So now, we're going to get a checkpoint in a minute, but we keep having to... Okay, I failed that, but seriously, was I supposed to be involved there with no QuickTime button on the screen? No, it's not like that. You fail the first time and then you succeed the second time, and your failure is scripted because they don't put a QuickTime button there. Now, this is the second phase of the fight. I just don't understand why a fight like this has 3 checkpoints. But later in the game, when you fight her and Monsoon back to back, there's no checkpoint between the entire two fights. And she has lackeys again the second time you fight her. I think that's so inexcusable. So whenever you get to a save point, whenever you get to say you get to phase 3 of the fight and you have hardly any health left, the best thing to do is just restart the checkpoint, because then you'll be filled up. You'll have all your Ripper mode, and you'll be completely filled up. That's all you need to do. So activate Ripper mode immediately. If you've saved any EMPs, you'll be in better shape than I, because as you can see, I have none left. So we're going to charge her and wail on her and parry. So there's the parry. We're going to cut her up. And as far as the lackeys, what I would recommend is running around the room and then doing the charge. Fortunately, they don't take too much damage off you. But the slide into the enemy, which knocks them off of their feet, is really great. And that's also great too. Jumping in the air, I was going to say double jumping, but there's no such thing. Jumping in the air and then holding the Y button. The instructions actually say to hold it and then release it, but I just hold it. It still does the same thing. In fact, I think it works a little bit better because it charges up the weapon more. Now, she's going to fling up rocks for you, like they're your fucking dinner or something. And then she'll do this twirl. I don't think you can parry this twirl. Anytime you see any orangish to an attack, you can't parry it. Sometimes, orange does look like red sometimes, so it can be kind of confusing. So I'm going to stand down here so that these projectiles that she's sending at me won't hit me. Just watch out. She's probably got some more lackeys on the way for you. That's all she does. So watch out when she disrupts the earth. Go over to her with the ninja run. Start wailing on her. And I actually did pretty well here. No item usage. Held my own. I'm getting better. And I hope you are too. I want this guide to be for people who have cleared hard, but who don't want to go through very hard and feel and moreover that I want these people to feel that they have the confidence to go into Revengeance mode. I do. If you don't, that's okay, because there's always very hard mode, and take your time and learn the game. That's what I could tell you the most, because these games, they're not patronizing. They don't come around very often, and it really is shame on me that I dismissed this game a long time ago and crushed it. But now I can crush it in a different way, So bits should be going down pretty soon. I truly hate this boss. I hate bosses, let alone ones where you can't even keep up with them. So there's the quick time events. I can't tell you my hatred on Armstrong. I hate Armstrong so much, but I love all those little cliches that he spits out. So funny. I love that. I love how the final boss is not some huge monster. It's a guy. Even though it is the first phase is a robot mech. But just cut her up per normal. Cut her head off, and that's the end of the chapter. Take care.